To this day, this is the only Christmas episode in the franchise's televised history, and to be fair, it does have the finer themes of the holiday with the togetherness, family, and the thoughtfulness of one's gifts. Knight Rider has always been able to provide the touching stories when it comes to families involved, and this is of no exception to the rule, especially when dealing with a family situation of keeping a teenage gypsy protected from 3 bank robbers with the agenda of apprehending Tino, as they are aware he can ID them to the cops. A little more of Michael's past is alluded to when advising KITT of what not to get him for Christmas, pertaining to ties, male colognes, and Argyle socks, especially Argyle socks. It's interesting to see the Trans Am learning of the festivities of the holiday in 1983, which is odd because you would think he would have some idea of how this works, considering that this was well over a year into the two of them being partners since the summer of 1982, and Michael would have mentioned something about Christmas by that point. Be as it may, it's just more evidence of KITT developing his personality more. Speaking of, more of KITT's snark becomes apparent with the back and forth retorts between him and Tino, with the way Tino tries to use some of KITT's features, much to the supercar's annoyance. He probably felt somewhat more annoyed by the way Tino drove recklessly, but that said, this was part of the deal for him leaving the phone back at his shack. KITT would allow himself to be driven by Tino if he left it at the remains of the shack. The sequence doesn't last long, but it's pleasing as you get to see from an adolescent's perspective of what it would be like to drive KITT. The accosting of Tino by the Three Stooges was predictable, but the fact that his uncle Stefano sold him out, I didn't see coming. And I think it would have been more rewarding to see his uncle put up a fight rather than be the cliche sellout of handing his nephew over for money like we've seen way too often in fiction. Don't get me wrong, it does provide sympathy for Tino as the one person that he had the most faith betrays him, but at the same time, I would have liked to have seen something that would break the mold of that trope. Hollywood for you. The best set pieces for action come from evading the Stooges' first time with the first turbo boost of the episode, and to the second where KITT's molecular bonded shell makes short work of the combine harvester in the field. The ending has a very satisfying payoff with douche heels going to jail, a kid being able to walk free and feel safe, with Michael having his bacon saved by not having to attend a Christmas banquet with a tuxedo that not even Elton John would want to wear. And that guy has worn some very loud and flamboyant suits, and even he would have cringed at what Devon offered Michael. Should also be noted, much of the filming outside was done in Covina, California. And for acting, Paul LaGraca really sells it with his role as a teenage delinquent Tino. He's a good kid, basically, but just made some bad choices. It was pleasing to see David portraying Michael by setting the example to Tino that sometimes your choices can affect others besides you, when he relays to him that the evidence of the stolen watch is crucial to putting the bank robbers in jail. Janet DeMay portrays Marta well as the doting big sister of Tino, troubled that her younger brother is finding himself in trouble, and the way Janet delivers her frustration out on Uncle Stefano is some fine acting. The bank robbers were basically live-action versions of the Three Stooges, as they're clumsy, absent-minded, and incompetent at what they're doing, going so far as to leave their car unattended to allow Tino to carjack them. On to the score. Don Peake put together some wonderful pieces to give it that holiday feel where required, especially in the opening scene before the bank robbery, and to providing cover versions of Eye of the Tiger, Owner of a Lonely Heart, and Gypsy, which to this day I think is one of the finer cover songs that Knight Rider has ever had in its series. Discrepancy time! Oh boy. In the scene where the characters are leaving the police station, the right side of the building says Woodside Police, and as the camera pans out, the left side of the building says Covina Police. Oh dear. And here's a revealing mistake, and this is something I noticed. With the second turbo boost near the end of the episode, the ramp is visible as KITT jumps into the field. Oh dear. When it all comes down to it, this is one of the fabulous 4 of Season 2. On the 3rd disc of this season, this lines up with Soul Survivor, Ring of Fire, and Nightmares. It's one of those episodes that has a great rewatch value because you can find new things to appreciate from it months to years later. It's actually pleasing from a Christmas episode where the holiday is the central theme of it, in the same context that even though Iron Man 3, Batman Returns, and Die Hard, yes, it is a Christmas movie, get over it, are Christmas flicks, It's just a sub-theme and allows the main story to take precedent. All that was missing was seeing KITT turbo boosting through the snow. I am disappointed that there weren't more from the show or from even Knight Rider SG, yet they had a Halloween-themed episode. To quote Rocky, it is what it is. Until next time, good night from the night, and Merry Christmas.